welcome to Scale Car Garage. Well, I thought we needed an update on the worldwide slot car chat projects that I'm working on, because they have progressed a little bit, and I hope that this will entice you to watch the worldwide slot car chat, and not only watch it, but also participate, because it is a lot of fun, and I'm blithering. So why don't I give you an update on those projects here at Scale Car Garage. Okay, so the main project that I was working on for the Worldwide Slot Car Chat was putting round fenders on this Porsche 935. And as you can see, it progressed quite well. This is really the combination of a Revell model kit with the slant nose 935 and the rear of a Scalextric 911 RSR. And as you can see, it's progressed quite nicely. If you take a look here, you can see how, well, to be honest, it's delightfully square. Yes, it's actually square. I guess even a broken clock is right twice a day, folks. So if you take a look, here's what we've done so far. I've added the sills to the underside of the car, they are from the model kit, and blended them into the undersill from the Scalextric car on both sides. We've put the door handles in, as you can see. And the other aspect of the car that was, it would have passed muster, but the rear of the car is really quite important. And one of the things I noticed about the Scalextric rear bumper here was that, well, it wasn't very smooth, and it was going to take a lot of work to make it smooth. So what I did was I grafted on the bumper from the model kit, and I think it really looks good, and it actually grafted in really well. So there it is. Now, of course, it needs an interior, and it can take a full interior, as you can see. So I had the original interior and sized it up, and the feedback I got from Dennis, who's making the chassis, was that, of course, well, to be honest, it's too big. Right. So, and he's right, because when you put it in, as you can see here, you put it right in, and because it's made for the model kit, again, another example of just me being darn lucky that this thing is square. It fit in as it's supposed to, but it takes up a lot of space, and we need space here for the motor and for the bottom of the chassis. So it has to be shortened, and well, the floor has to be raised up to give it room. So rather than try and alter this interior to make it happen, I thought I would make a completely new one. And so I took some fairly flexible and cut out pieces for a box and put it together. I also took the seat from the kit and shaved down about 1/4 of an inch. And as you can see, it turned out really well. I've got a driver in there. Here's the steering wheel from the kit, and it should actually line up quite nicely. I just have to get the right arms, and I may have to fabricate some arms. So that's the only thing that's really left to do, is fabricate arms for the driver. The interior actually fits quite well. Now I'm going to take these pieces out because they're still loose. Because all of this, of course, all of these pieces have to be cast. I have the driver's body, I have a mold of that, but I have to cast all of these other pieces as well. When you insert the interior, and again, it's the correct size. When you insert the interior, it fits quite nicely in. Hopefully you can see that, as it should. But it also leaves lots and lots of room for the motor. Lots of room for the motor, because it almost goes, if you can see, actually, you know what I should try and do? I haven't tried to do this. Let's put the dashboard in and see if we can insert that. There we go. Gives you an idea how the dashboard will look. There we go. We've got the dashboard in there like so. Okay. Let's try and put that in just to get an idea. Hopefully gravity will be our friend here, and give you an idea where that sits. So it sits something like that. I'll make some locating pins and so forth in the body so it would fit. But you can see there's going to be lots and lots of room for the motor, with the dashboard, the driver sitting here, and I think we have our 935. I think we can actually start creating a mold for this project. The other parts that we have to cast, the rear wing that goes across over here. We're going to use that as a separate piece. Oops, goes this way. Beg your pardon. We're going to do mold that as a separate piece so it fits in quite nicely. There we go. I think it will fit in quite nicely. So the rear wing. We have all of the glass, and I think it might be best to try and mold this entire tree. Actually, it certainly has the runners that'll help with resin flow. Excuse me. So I think I'm going to try and do that. Just leave it as it is. But the side windows, I had to take off the trees to make sure that they fit the car, which they do actually. Let me just show you that. They fit in actually quite nicely. So there you go. Both sides. Whoops. So here are all the parts that are needed for this kit. And I think we're in fairly good shape on the 935. Now, the other project that I was working on for the Worldwide Slot Car Chat was, for Frank and for Dennis, this Chaparral 2G, which is an absolutely lovely casting. The underside, however, needed a bit of cleaning up. Well, the top side needed a little bit of cleaning up too. I'll show you what I did to clean that up. There are the front vents here that you can see. I mean, they're beautifully detailed, but underside, if I can show you, they actually needed to be opened. And so I opened those up. The other sort of detail that I tried to add or supplement. I think supplement is a good, because the detail was there. It just needed a wee bit more cleaning up. Were these wonderful holes for the fender vents, and they are wonderful, but some of them were not quite deep enough, and I imagine that was from the casting, but the holes there, so they needed to be cleaned up a wee bit. So that was done. There were a couple of small bubbles, which happens in casting sometimes, and it's no big deal. Just took a little bit of putty. There were two. That's really quite remarkable. There's one here on the end that you can see where I put a wee bit of putty, and then right here where the injection stacks go with the snorkel, that needed some. Now on the underside there were some really thin points, but the first step, of course, was to remove the casting lines. There were these very heavy casting lines in the wheel wells, so those have been removed. But there were also some very, very thin points, in particularly spots that had huge recesses. So I just basically built those areas up with, believe it or not, CA glue. And you can see it's a little discolored, but it's no big deal. It does the job. We just don't want that area of the body to fail when we're casting. So this body is also ready for a mold. Now, there are other parts as well. There's, of course, that really high rear wing that the 2G and 2E, oops, excuse me, and 2E were known for. There are the actual struts that hold up the rear wing, and these struts are interesting the way they were made. They have these little pieces of steel, and I think we can maybe make that happen. That'll have to happen in the casting process, but we can make that happen. We'll just make the mold as such. There are these massive rear exhausts that go in this space here, and they are massive because they were massive in the real car. There are the injector stacks, which you really don't see them because there is an air box over the injector stacks, like so. And I might hollow out that air box a wee bit more, although there is a lip there, and to be honest, you're just probably going to paint black in that oval area anyway, so it might be fine the way it is. I think we'll leave it the way it is and let the paint do some work. Now, it does have this vacuform interior, which I can cast, especially for anybody who wants to be a real racer. It does fit in. I can make a mold of this, but you know what? Now that I think of it, I think for a little more scale accuracy, I might create an interior as well. Well, I'm going to cast this anyway, and let me ponder that. And then, of course, there is the glass for the car that has been vacuformed, and I'm actually going to trim this out and make a mold for that, and it should be just perfect. And we'll make that out of clear resin. So the 2G, it's actually in really good shape. I think we have 2 of the Worldwide Slot Car Chat projects that are, well, ready for rubber. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe.